necessary, but you are welcome to do that. And again, that recording will be there available for everyone to see. This is directly trying to communicate with our central office HR and our district HRs the roles of what career ladder is. And I can tell you, we will not have been able to be here had it not been for so many subject matter experts on this. It was just great. I know some of you were not able to participate, maybe not as much as you'd like to, but I can tell you your coworkers and colleagues here were just phenomenal, and they just did an amazing job with the process. So what I'm going to do real fast, because our time is limited, I want to kind of go per district and just see who is with us. So if one of the district representatives would just kind of speak out there and just kind of help me with who's joined with you from your district there. So I'm going to first start with the Northwest District. Do we have any representation this morning from Northwest?
Yeah, this is Angie Downey, and Becca Flushings is also on here.
All right. Thank you, Angie, Becca. Again, you guys were great voices throughout the process. Appreciate you being with us. Let's go to the Northeast, please.
Hey, it's Jennifer Butner. I have Janet Growinda on here with me, as well as Susan, Cernia, and Rita. So our whole team's here. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And again, Jennifer, many times valuable information your group has provided to us throughout that. Thank you so much. Let's go to Kansas City. Representation Kansas City this morning. All right. Let's go to Central District.
I'm here from Central District.
Perfect. I thought I saw Heather's name there. As well. I was looking up again because I saw. Thank you,
Yeah,
Heather,
good
for
morning.
joining us. Appreciate you being here. St. Louis.
Good morning, Javel Burton and Christine Terry are on.
Thank you, Javal and Christine. I appreciate you guys being here today. Southwest.
I'm on, and then also Sherry and Jody are on as well.
All right. All right. So Sydney, again, Sydney, thank you. You've been a huge lift and help for us throughout this. And we've got Jody and I missed the other name there.
Sherry.
Sherry. Hey, thank you guys so much.
Hey, Mike, it's Todd Tyler. I'm on with him as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Todd.
Southeast.
I'm Mallory Davis. I'm on for Southeast right now. I think I'm the only one from Southeast here today.
Okay.
Actually, I'm
all right.
on.
Oh, there's Carrie. Carrie's here too.
All right. Thank you, Carrie.
Hey, Mike, this
All
is
right.
Ashley. It looks like Megan from Kansas City just joined. I want to confirm that, see if anyone else is on from Kansas City.
Perfect. And by the
I'm
way,
sorry.
Ashley. Oh,
Oh,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I stepped out to see who all was on. I think we all joined and then everybody else got busy. So I think I'm the only one on, and the others are going to do theirs tomorrow, I think, or Thursday.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that.
Yep.
All
and
right.
Megan is here from Kansas City.
Oh,
but I think I'm the only one.
All right. Thank you. So, Ashley, central office. I see a couple of those. Who all's with us today?
Looks like, okay, so Ashley's here. It looks like Kim Larimore is here. Amanda Wren is on. Am I missing anyone else from central office? Mike Holloway?
I think Reagan might
Yeah,
be
I'm on.
Gotcha.
Looks like Mike's on too.
All right. Great group. Thank you all. So, we kind of have a new feature. I don't know if you guys have tried this out in any of your teams yet, but there is an ability to kind of do polls like this, kind of a quiz thing as you go through. We tried it for the first time last Tuesday in our monthly MMS training. We felt like it was pretty successful. So it might be that Tommy Randall kind of throw one of those up occasionally. It might be that we can do that, might not. But I know we got a pretty full agenda that we are trying to do today. So If you have any questions, please just stop me. You don't have to raise your hand if you want to. You're more than welcome. Ask me any questions as we go along. The agenda is attached there to the chat. If you prefer putting a question in the chat, that would be great with that there. So before I go any further, Ashley, I don't know if there's anything you want to add. I just want to be respectful if there was something that you were wanting to share before we kind of dove into our information.
Thank you for the opportunity, but no, I'm anxious to see and see it all in action, and I'm looking forward to hearing the feedback from the group. So I'll stay quiet and just watch and listen.
All right, sounds great. So I'm going to share with you on the screen. We have now moved the information for career ladders into our test environment. And so I'm going to take this ULR and I'm going to copy that and also put that into our, actually I might have Tommy Randall do that for me. If you guys would please put that in the chat. That way you guys can all come in here and see this environment. I do want you to highlight, I want to highlight for the majority of you all, MMS is not on your desktop. The easiest way to get into MMS is going to the MoDOT SharePoint site, and we're the fourth row down on that far right. When you click on that, that actually will go to our production environment. The reason I want to highlight is that if you open the production environment, you're going to see something that looks like this. It's blue. You know, the look of it looks a little different than this test environment. Again, we put up their UAT test. It's kind of got a gray banner. So where we're asking you all to be at for the next month or so is in this environment here. And again, use that link there, save it to your favorites, but that's really where you want to be at. Likely if you click production and you go through career ladder, it's not going to be working because we have not moved these things there yet. So the career ladders, a couple of things particularly, again, we're just doing 6 career ladders. It's the intermediate and senior maintenance worker career ladder, intermediate and senior bridge maintenance worker career ladder, intermediate senior signal and lighting technician career ladder. So those 6 are there. Those are the only ones that we're doing in MMS at this time. And so the ability is very similar to how we built incident reporting last year for safety and emergency management, but it's got its own kind of twist into it for career ladder. I'm going to speak a little bit about kind of some things in the background. So within MMS, we have an admin page. Now this admin page, we have given some of central office HR has some access to this admin page, but for the districts, there really isn't anything here on this back side that you all will be involved in, but I wanted to give you a real fast snapshot of what it looks like. So underneath this manage career ladders, this is where we've made the process where we can actually build the career ladders. Last week I had a chance to speak with Reagan a little bit about how this is going to work. The MMS team is building these. We'll have these set up, but at some point here, we're again working with Reagan and central office. This will become one of their things they will manage and keep up with any kind of changes to career ladders. Career ladders right now, the 6 that we're talking about are broken into these 5 different elements that match what is out there right now in the career ladders under central office HR. Each one of these, we can add all kinds of different items to them. So for instance, if I open up job title minimum, here's all the different pieces right now that are part of the different ones we have. The checklist, individual checklist we create in here. And again, it's just the 6 that we listed earlier there. We might even do that as a poll and a quiz here in a few minutes. But you'll notice those are the 6 job titles we're looking at. So when we open one of these, for instance, if I open up intermediate maintenance worker, this is where it's all built. Some things are automatic from data. Tommy will talk more about that. But I can, again, open up a blank form and show what we have built within the system. So this is kind of the back side of everything. Again, as we work with HR, as central HR, this will be that uniformity that there's everyone's using the exact same checklist for these 6 job titles as we move along with that process there. So just a little bit there, we shouldn't be seeing something different that's out on HR's website versus what we're using within MMS for our information. So with that, the next item on the agenda here that we have is that we wanted to, again, kind of give a little bit of that background. That's an admin function. And then the next item is I want to talk a little bit about what the page looks like slightly there. So when you look at what Tommy is sharing with his screen there, this particular employee that we've brought up, I think this is Bradley Adams. Okay. And so, oh, no, sorry. This gentleman's name is Travis Evans.
This is the employee. Brad Adams is his supervisor. So we'll start
okay.
here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the whys, and I really enjoyed the conversation here just this last Thursday. Why did we do this? All right. Career ladders have been a process what MoDOT has done for years. And this is helping take us to that place of really where it is an employee and a supervisor interaction. Employees can come into MMS. Again, we're talking about those that are utilizing MMS every day as documentation, our maintenance worker series, our traffic worker series, bridge worker series. And they can come in here and they can open up career ladder. And they can see what does it look like for that next career ladder for me to obtain that, and where's my training and what's expected of me and what's that look like. And so it really helps open up the whole entire piece. So as an employee, they come here, they can click on this career ladder. You'll notice the buttons change when we want the employee to know something, or supervisor. We have a different look to the button. So when the employee clicks on this, it's going to open up to our landing page. We call this our ladder license leave landing page. Right now, we have career ladders that are in here, and we have our leave balances. This is also where employees can request leave within the system. There's a messages, the top right. Those are pertinent messages we want an employee to know. So we will not be communicating to employees by email. Now, we will communicate to the supervisors and superintendents, but to our intermediate and senior worker series, they will not be receiving emails. They will be seeing in application notifications. Here's an example. You may be eligible for a career ladder promotion to senior maintenance worker as of 4/7/2024. All this wording, we worked with our group as we built it to make sure we spent a lot of time. How do we say the word right? Is it eligible? Is it not eligible? This is a reflection of all those several months of working with them. And they can click on this. So this is the employee. So the employee goes one more step. They can see what that actually looks like for their career ladder, but we wanted it to be right in front of them and all that information there. Pretty basic pages. They're used to these. Nothing, that's real complex to what these look like. Okay, Tommy, is that what we wanted to cover under that particular item?
Yeah, I was just going to have you show. So that was the employee. Now his supervisor is Mr. Adams. And when we come to ladder license leave, notice he doesn't have an alert. The employee has not submitted that career ladder yet checklist for review. But same thing in his message queue. He has a notification that Mr. Evans may be eligible for promotion. Same kind of information, so the supervisor knows as well. But he doesn't have alerts or anything because the employee hasn't submitted it for review yet. So that was the secondary piece Michael would want to show.
Right. So really where we want to get to, we got to get to what is your responsibilities as HR. But we just want to show a little bit, hey, here's what employees are seeing. But there's a big piece of this to understanding what the responsibility is going to be for the district HR personnel. So Tommy's going to go into security roles. This is a big deal of how we handle this using Active Directory and speak about what each security role looks like.
Thanks, Michael. So on the agenda next, as Michael mentioned, was security roles, and we have ladder reviewer versus EID supervisor roles. So security roles are pretty straightforward. We have SL6, which is the overall MMS administrators, which is Michael, myself, the dedicated team, and we have a few others. But for career ladder, it's really HR6, which will be our statewide central office folks. And then we have our HR5, which will be our district HR. And the security roles are different. The capabilities are different for those roles. So we have HR, you're either HR6 or you're HR5 for everyone on this call. If you're assigned in the district, you're that 5 role. You're not able to cross district lines and review checklists for other folks in other districts. That's where that security role comes into effect. So what do we mean by ladder reviewer versus EID supervisor roles? The subject matter experts that were part of the requirements team wanted to make sure that the ladder reviewer is we'll call it the top ranking official in that building. So in a maintenance building, if you have an assistant supervisor and there's half the building assigned to that person, the other half is assigned directly to the maintenance supervisor. That's the EID supervisor role. That's the role that they'll play as far as doing those engagement conversations. But for the ladder review, we want everything to go through that maintenance supervisor. That person, he or she, will be the one that is that level 1 reviewer in career ladder, and that was a decision made by the team. So it becomes really important, HR, that you guys keep your HR database as well as helping keep EID as clean and accurate as possible. For the most part, we do pretty good, but we'll find some EID issues. Usually it's because of transfers or promotions. Some of those things can lag behind, and it creates a problem for us, both in the safety world as far as who's approving and reviewing those, and it will in this world as well. So that's a real quick overview of security. The real key is that ladder reviewer versus that EID supervisor role.
So we've got 3 items of data that become very pertinent to be aware of for everyone. The first one is, again, Employee Information Director, EID. And you guys, and often maybe along with financial services, you're the owners of that. And MMS is always looking basically every night. What do we know? What do we know about this person? What is their job title? What was their hire date? All of that. Some of that's SAM2 things. And then the next piece is the data, data on disciplinary actions. So in this career ladder, we're going to be looking real time. Was Mike Middleton disciplined, written warning or above? And that's going to trigger some things. It's going to push my eligibility date out. Very pertinent that those things are accurate and current. You guys are going to help probably see some of that. You're probably going to see that as you look in some of your districts. Wait a second, that person's been disciplined. Why isn't this right? Well, maybe we have something wrong in our coding, right? But we're looking at that data. And then the third thing is those engaged, like Tommy said. So 3 things, if you guys will write those down: EID, database for disciplinary, and then the engage. Now, where's the engage going to catch you? You just had a supervisor retire, quit, disciplined, and they're no longer here in a building. And then have you got that reassigned to someone? And let's say you reassign that to a superintendent, right? That defines our level of who level reviewer 1, 2, 3 are. And again, it works. We can always reassign, but I am occasionally we get those questions. Why did I get this? Well, you got it because that is who you're assigned to be the engaged supervisor. And so Kim Larimore and I are having that conversation this very week with engaged emails going out. It just is another way to heighten and shore up that our data is accurate. Okay. Any questions to this point? Because what Tommy's going to go through now, he's going to actually show you the grid. This is where you all will be living, spending your time, understanding how things flow. But before we get there, I want a chance. If anyone has a question, I don't see any chats out there yet. I think we're going to throw a poll up there to see if you guys, it helps the response. Please respond to those questions there. Anything you want to ask us about before we demonstrate the grid? Okay. So I got a person who is kind of asking this when we use the terminology EID versus ladder reviewer. So I'm going to use an example in the Southwest District. In the Southwest District in Springfield Maintenance, they have a maintenance supervisor, but they also have a couple of assistant maintenance supervisors. Those assistant maintenance supervisors in the Southwest today in Engage, they perform the Engage supervisor responsibilities for some of the maintenance worker series. The employee or the supervisor who will sign off on career ladders is the maintenance supervisor. They're not the Engage supervisor. So that's how it was set up. That is the business practices of career ladders as described to us. In that maintenance building, who actually is the maintenance supervisor? Even though we might have a ladder, a person in here who's sitting in an assistant position who does do some of those maintenance or intermediate people, they won't be assigned as level 1. It is the actual building supervisor. So hopefully the person, that's a great question. I'm telling you, it is confusing and it is very challenging in our coding to make sure we always get it to the right person. But that's who it's going to go to. Traffic, urban traffic supervisor. Who is that going to go to, right? In St. Louis, that's going to go to a Roy Mize. You know, it's going to go to a Brian Dosh kind of person, right? In a bridge supervisor role, right? We're going to take that to a Keith. We're going to take that to those kind of supervisors there, not the assistant. They will not have access to approve, but they can look at it and they can check it off. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to say, yes, I think I understand that as best I possibly can. Thank you guys for answering the poll there. Tommy, let's turn it over to you and let's go through the grid, please.
Okay, thanks, Michael. We'll do. I'm impersonating Mike Montgomery of Kansas City, so I'm the HR5 security role through impersonation. We'll take a look at what his grid looks like for the Kansas City district, and you can see we have 32 folks are in progress. These are active. I'll go ahead and expand this and we can see the whole group. It means these folks are actively within 2 years, or excuse me, within 2 months of being within their 2-year eligibility date or past. You can see some people we have down at the bottom, they're 1.9 months into their tenure in that position. And we have some people that have been in the positions quite a bit longer as well. So the grid, you can do employee name searches. Just type in and we'll pull back search, and that'll filter our grid in that manner. So that's how you use the employee name search. Pretty straightforward, right? In order to view a checklist, I will check the box and then I can use the view button and that will open up the checklist. And we'll go through the checklist in more detail in a minute. Just want to make sure you guys understand the grid functionality. All the fields are filterable. I can do the same thing. I'm going to clear this real quick. And I can filter using this search box as well. I can do that same search, employee name search, just like I did before up in the other box. And you can do that same thing for all fields. Let's say we only want intermediates. Let's say we want intermediate bridge. We can just use that. That'll filter our fields. You can also reverse the order, sort them up and down, however you want to do. I'm going to clear this and put them all back again. So we have a show all button. The button or the page by default is in only show us the ones that are active, meaning they're eligible for review. But we can use the show all button and it'll bring back everyone in the district that's in those career ladders positions. And it'll show us folks that are way outside, nowhere near being ready. So we get down the bottom list. This person's only been here half a year, 0.5 month, or in that position, should say, in that title. So That'll give you the show all button. You can see everybody that's in the titles, and we'll change it back to active, and that narrows it back down to anybody that's now eligible for review. Customize, we'll come back to reassign button here in a minute because we got an example we want to show you. But in customized columns, you can see we have a few fields here that are not in the grid by default, but I like it. I like to put that hire date up there. I also want to know when is their promotion eligibility date. And so all of those fields can just be drug up through there as needed. These will retain it while you have your session open. Once you close your browser or log off, it will drop those customized columns back out, and it'll just be your default as it's setting. But as long as you keep your browser open or while you're working in there, you can throw those columns. You can leave the page, come back, go do other things, come back. It'll retain those in your cache. So it's pretty handy in that sense. If I want to get rid of something, you can just take it out. You can move it around if you want to change the position and what you have here. Go back to the customized columns. And if I want to bring something else in, let's take that hire date and we'll move it back out of our grid. So that's how you remove something. Export will simply do that. You can export the grid to a PDF or to an Excel, whichever you want. It'll take everything that's in your grid and dump that out. If we want to look at the report, we check the box for the employee we want to look at. We click the report form button. And what that does is that gives you a PDF of that person's checklist. And you can page through it, page 1, page 2. And so that gives you that report form that you can print out and file away in their performance management file. We have a search box over here. This will basically search any field on the grid. And I did a name search for this was assigned to this employee here. So again, I could have searched any field, anything in there in this search box, and it'll bring it back. We have a career ladder checklist link up here, and we have a link to Mo Careers as well as HR5. You can see here that this is the HR banner. There is a banner that HR 6s can control, that what kind of message they want to display. I'm not in here, but I'll show you in a second. But I just threw this message up here because I have access to it. And this is the way you guys, HR6s, you can share information across the state, what you want to, anything you want to relay as far as that message. Just some functionality. You guys saw me use the number of grid rows. You can play with that. You got your typical pagination here where you can go to page arrow, jump to the page number, whatever the case may be. So that is a pretty quick overview of just the grid. Michael, was there anything that I missed here that we want to talk about in the grid?
So I think my biggest stumble on this page, and I've had it, I think maybe Kim Larimore, we was talking the other day about this, is I've picked a person's name, I've done some stuff. You're frequently going to want to go back and hit the clear button. It just kind of resets the page, and now I can go find another one because like here we have Mr. Stone picked. If you want to open up a different name and you click on someone else, it's not going to function. It's one person at a time going in and looking. See, the view button isn't available anymore. You have to really kind of do one person at a time when you want to go into their information. So I find myself using the clear button frequently because, I'm looking at different things in there. So again, we want to make sure you know how to get to an employee. You can search any employee, but I do have an assignment for everyone. So Tommy, if you would hit clear. One of the assignments that we need you all to help us with, and it kind of goes back to data, is when you look at, and Tommy, if you would go to your customized columns, I want to see, oh no, here we go. Years in position. We're about 6 rows over. I would like for each district to take ownership of a green to these who everyone is greater than basically 2.5 years. The first gentleman here, Mr. Wheeler, has been in this current position for almost 7.5 years. I think you guys know these. You're going to know these names. There's reasons. We have some have been in the position 15 years. So there is actually an assignment for you all. I would like for you guys to look through each one of those that makes sense of where we're getting this, that these people have been in their position and they have not been promoted. So you guys can shoot us back an email, a text message or something, or send us a chat that you agree, you're concerned. Hey, go look at this person. If you guys will do that, that will be of huge help in just helping us make sure we're not looking at something wrong. Okay. All right. Any questions to this point? How the grid works, how it looks like. Oh, by the way, if some of you are already in here, awesome. I was never the person to listen very well in school. I always wanted to be doing, actually in there and doing things. It's just the way I learned. So encourage you all to, you're more than welcome to do that. All right. Randall, are you still with us or did you have to jump to another meeting?
I think he was late coming to ours, so.
Okay. So I
had
think, I think where we're at, I think we're ready to actually do an overview of the checklist now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So let's pick. So now we want to look at that checklist. All we're going to do is check the box. We'll hit view, and we'll talk a little bit about the checklist template. And basically at the top here, we've got the employee's name, we got their current job title, their district, division, their organization, their status. We have their years of service. We have their hire date. We have the tenure in position, and then we have tenure in division. And then we have their promotion eligibility date. And then we have this reevaluation date. We'll talk a little bit about it. So we are calculating this years of service, tenure in position, tenure in division. So as you guys start looking at these, we've done a lot of work. We've worked to validate these to make sure that our process is working correctly. And actually this comes from our data mart. This is something that the IS developers built for us, a process to pull back these dates. It does include prior time service. So that clock starts when it starts figuring these times as far as years of service, when you're in that division, that tenure in the position, that hire date, all of those things. Kind of this hire date, however, is that most recent employment date, but the years of service and all that stuff goes back to prior dates as well. So it gets confusing. If Randall or I had any hair, we had pulled it out, just making sure, kind of trying to validate, making sure it all makes sense. But reevaluation date, we use that in a couple ways. You'll use that if a person is maybe not ready for a promotion. It could be that they need more training, they need more time, whatever the case may be. You'll work with your crews to make that. You'll also do that reevaluation date if a promotion is denied. That will get populated by HR 5. And so there's 2 or 3 different ways we use that reevaluation date, and we'll look at that. If they have a security or a safety violation or a disciplinary action, that reevaluation date is set automatically 12 months from that disciplinary action date, and we'll kind of look at one of those too. So we get into these, that's kind of the top half of the form. So I will stop right there. Any questions about the top half, or really this opening section? Okay. So then we get into our template, and really Michael's kind of showing you the template. I'll get set up. We have our minimum job title minimum requirements as set for each job title. A couple things here to note. The Class A CDL checkbox, that is automatically generated from MMS. The supervisor, superintendent, HR 5s, you cannot check that box. That box comes in, you either have it or not, and we're reading from the Department of Revenue. So that's why that field is not manual, it is automatically updated. If there's a problem with it, it should be checked. And we had this an example when we were looking at this in training earlier, that we were missing a code that was a valid code that should have had that check. We fixed that bug, and now we go. So that's the way we'll go about it. If for some reason somebody's missing that should have it, we need to look at what's going on with our code. High school diploma and all that stuff, you can see I can check those, uncheck those. Those are manual by the reviewers. Again, we have our job title, knowledge, skills, and abilities. Those are all manual. And you can see here in our training and performance development, we have access to their MODOT training record. You open that up, that'll pull up this employee's full MODOT U transcript. And so you can access that there. You can see this employee has had no disciplinary actions. If they had, there would be a date here of what that action date was, and that reevaluation date would be set for 12 months from that date. The training and all that is pulled in directly from MMS. It's set up by the training admins and of what all is required for this employee to complete for promotion. And you can see there's several things here that still need to be completed for this employee. If we get down to organizational support, again, those things are manually done, and those are filled out by the reviewer. And we go back down to the next section, position or group specific knowledge and skills. Again, a minimum for this is 6 of these items must be completed in order for them to be eligible for promotion. And you'll see these are automatically generated from MMS based off MODOT U. It'll have their completion date. But we also get down here at the bottom, and you can see starting with herbicide and striper, these things are filled in that are not from MODOT U. And so those have manual entry capabilities. We can add course requirements. The supervisor or HR5, they have these add course requirements, add other requirements. There's different things that they have access to for each section. And you can see that's applicable up here for organizational support, as well as that training and performance development. Other things can be added. Then we get down to the employee comments section. Did want to have a note in the agenda that we want to be careful. We want to make a point that we remind ourselves that these comments are viewable to the employee, and we need to be professional about our comments because all levels of review, the employee can see all levels of review, and the other reviewers can see the comments for the other reviews as well. So just a point we want to make sure that we keep in mind as we fill these out, remind our employees, and pay attention to that. We have the different levels of review. You can see here at the bottom for each level reviewer, if they have comments, we haven't gotten there yet, but all of these will be populated. Comments are required for any promotion that is denied. You will have to, that level of review will have to put a comment in. So the process is the level 1 reviewer comes in and the supervisor says he or she is not ready for promotion. They're not performing well. I'm going to deny it. Once that deny happens, it goes straight to HR for review in whatever district. And then from there, you guys will have to take action. The last section that I want to talk about on the template here for this person is the waiver sections. And Michael, I'm going to let you kind of talk about how we got to needing the waiver piece.
I appreciate that. So when we basically got ourselves here about 3 weeks ago, we started doing some very early on testing, and we found, again, we built the system that everything has to be checked. And that's really exactly what the subject matter experts led us to, right? You've got to have all your job requirements checked. Everything on that job title list, as far as your career letters, got to be checked off. Everything has to. You cannot move ahead. And then the realization was we kept hearing kind of a few comments. Oh, but we have this exception. Oh, but we have this exception. Oh, but this exception, right? We promote people early. We different pieces. Well, they didn't get that one training, and it really, I had to hit the brakes. We've spent the last 2 weeks having our developers build this avenue to get around the exceptions. And so I had a great conversation a week ago Monday with Ashley and Amanda about this very topic. They met, I believe, again with all the HR managers last Monday, and this was one of the topics. And this will allow, in those cases that leadership and HR have agreed that an employee should move forward without everything checked. This is not an MMS deal at all, right? And so we just implemented this yesterday into our test environment. You'll be able to see kind of how it looks. The vast majority of the time, again, we got all 5 of our sections there, but the majority of the time, it's just going to be that training performance one. I created a fast video yesterday. I've sent that to Amanda and Ashley and Kim to take a look at. It's about 10 minutes long. It goes through the whole process of these temporary waivers. I try to my best. I'm not the one setting the rules or the guidelines on this. And to give that chance to understand how do we handle when there is a particular course required and an employee doesn't have it. So another poll there pops up. How many job titles are set up in MMS? How many have we said there? We'll see how well we're doing. But this was necessary. But again, you all are the ones creating those rules of how often are we going to be able to do one of these temporary waivers. And so thank you guys. I think it was just one of those things we had to work through, right? We just know that life happens. And we built something that you could not continue on at all for any of these 6 job titles if they didn't have absolutely everything checked. And so you guys were great. You give great feedback. Again, I applaud so many of you all helped us through this in the last couple of weeks to at least make it so that when and if there's one of these that occur, now HR has a process that they can move through. So, all right. Any questions? I think what we're going to go to now is that ability to show you there's really 5 processes when it comes to career ladders. Okay, and so Tommy, if it's okay, I'm gonna steal this visual for just a second. I know you're probably getting yours kind of getting ready there to show what these are, but I thought these were really helpful and kind of in my thick head. These are the 5 basic things we can do with a career ladder. Okay, we can promote someone. Normal process, right? It's just the normal. You've met your career ladder date. You've got everything that's required. Move along. We got to have a second scenario. We have an employee who is going to be promoted early. Again, for whatever reason, they have not been here the full 4 years, the full 2 years, and we're promoting them 3 months, 6 months early. That's a second scenario by which we can handle. The third one is the on hold group. And that goes back to kind of one of those homework assignments for you all. All of those who have been here, more than that, 2 or 3 years in that job title. They've been here 5, 10, 15. That's an on hold process. Could be because they don't want to get their Class A. Right? Whatever it might be. So that's a group. They're just on hold. They're not being promoted. Often because they just don't want to. Item number 4 is denied. So we have the example where we've taken an employee and we have, for some specific reason, they've hit that eligible date, but there's a reason we're denying them. Again, not because of disciplinary and not because necessarily they don't have everything trained, right? There's something else there going on, and we're going to deny that, and we're going to set a reevaluation date out in the future. We're not moving forward with that promotion. And then the 5th example is a promotion with a temporary waiver. And so those are the 5 scenarios we have. Again, I know we're down to only 15 minutes left, so Tommy is going to do his very best to kind of give us a snapshot of those. This is probably going to go very fast. but that helps me understanding that there's 5 different ways that we can process career ladders.
Okay, so again, time is short, so we are going to go fast. I am impersonating Mr. Palm. He is eligible for promotion, so he's going to go in and he's going to submit his career ladder. We've kind of been through the messages and the alerts and all that, but I'm going to come in as him, and he's going to say, I want to do this. You can see he's got his Class A CDL, so a huge plus, right? So that's automatically generated. He does not have any disciplinary actions. Boom, so he's good to go. Next will come down to, does he got his training? He looks good there, but as the employee, I don't care. I'm just going to tell you, I want to be promoted. I'll let you figure it out. So as the employee, to submit my checklist, I don't have to put in comments or anything else. I can if I choose to. What I do have to do is I have to certify that if I've put anything in here, it's true, and then I'm going to submit. It alerts them that, hey, you're submitting your career ladder checklist to your supervisor for review, okay? So just that confirmation for the employee. And so now we can see, actually, I'm going to do this so it gives you a good picture here. All right, so now he is ready for review. I'm going to come in as a supervisor. Michael, we should have gotten an email probably for that, if you want to tie that in.
Absolutely. I'll share my screen with you. Here's the real-time email that occurs. You'll notice who it's going to go to. So there went to the supervised. This was the employee. Mr. Palm is the supervisor in the org. That might not be his EID supervisor, right? There might be an assistant in that group. And I think they'd been copied in the email had there been one. But Mr. Darren Foreman is the maintenance supervisor. Here's the information. He can click right there and go straight into the career ladder and continue on with the process.
Okay, thanks, Michael. All right, so back to this. Mr. Foreman is his supervisor. So now I'm impersonating Alex. You can see that he has an alert on his ladder license and leave. He should also have a message saying that this has been submitted. Right here, Bobby's Palm has submitted for review. And then we'll go into his grid. See how Mr. Palm is still selected? Michael kind of talked about, it's kind of a double-edged sword. The good thing is it retains what you're doing while you're in here, and it can be very helpful. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating too, because you're like, ah, dang it, I got somebody else selected. So Alex gets to process this now. You can see that the status is now waiting for level 1 review. And we have waiting for level 1, 2, 3, 4, or HR review. And then we have an on hold status we'll talk about. So we're going to go through it. We're going to get this guy approved. He's got his diploma as a supervisor, validated he has 4 years of performing roadway work. He's had a satisfactory safety record. You know, all of these things he's completed. Meets or exceeds expectations for his performance development. Sorry about that. He has all his required trainings are checked and completed. His organizational, he's meeting all those standards, so we're going to check the box. And he needs a requirement of 12 of these items. And I think I need a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just for this purpose. We're going to select these. And then as a level 1 reviewer, ready for promotion. I'm going to certify that. And now I have the approve. And you can see there's informational text down at the bottom of the page saying what needs to happen to approve or deny, certification, checkbox, and comments. So we're going to approve it. Oh, what I miss, Michael?
I think just hit approve in a second time. This is what I saw earlier. If you click it a second time, it'll go through.
Let me recertify.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, and you can see that it's now moved him to waiting for level 2 review. And it's assigned to Mr. Burris, the superintendent for that that particular org. And we're just going to continue on that process. It'll go to level 2, level 3, and then that's the last level. And then it ends up going to waiting for HR review. And you guys can approve the promotion and do a couple things. So we'll just kind of stop for there for that point.
So if I share my screen with you again, you know, these are going to just continue the email process. It goes to the next person. But every time your district HR is going to get emailed. We did this intentionally, but you're probably going to get, to some extent, maybe tired of these. It's really just going to boil down to how frequently you're having these job turnovers. So at some point, I could see that you really could get to where, hey, I understand this just looking at the grid. I don't need to get these constant emails or not, right? But you're going to get several of these just helping connect all the dots together of what's going on. And probably another point to just be clear on, everyone in your HR group, we've given the same kind of access to. So, you know, for instance, if any one of you are saying, hey, I really don't need this person with this, right? Let us know. We can take them out, right? It's not a problem. But right now, we've got everyone in St. Louis HR is getting all the same kind of access. Everyone in Kansas City HR is getting the same kind of access. All of you are going to be getting these same kind of emails. We can, again, we can change that, but you just need to let us know if that needs to be switched or something there. Okay. Any questions at this point? Again, it's obvious we're not going to get to all 5, but Tommy has got a chance to kind of show us another example here. Throw a chat in there. If you got a question, we'll let Tommy show the next example, and we'll kind of address that question here as we go along. If you have any.
Yeah. So the on-hold status, this is that employee doesn't want to be promoted. Another example was they may be away on military service, and we just need to put that on hold for a while until they return from military service. So this one is super simple. We'll just select Mr. Conway right here, and there's a reassign button. I told you we'd circle back to that button. So I'm in as, I should have said this, I'm in as Angie Downey. She's the HR 5 for Northwest. And so she can come in here, she can reassign this to on hold status. Puts it there, and that's all that happens. We'll do a search here real quick for Mr. Conway. And you can see his status changed to on hold. So super quick, easy process for that. I'm going to clear that out of here. Let's see. So, Michael, what do you want to do? You want to look at a denied? We're going to run out of time.
I tell you, I think what I'd like to do, if everyone's okay with it, again, we got 3 other examples to go through. We're going to meet tomorrow and Thursday. I know some of you all might not be able to be here for all 3 of them. That's fine. But we'll probably leverage our time the next 2 days a little differently. You know, we'll probably get started with these a little earlier in the session. But I would rather kind of stop for a second. And Tommy, thank you. You've done a great job, and appreciate everything here. I want to kind of just go around the districts and get a chance if anyone can share any particular concern and about kind of where we go next. So, Jennifer, you did ask questions, so I'm going to start there first with Jennifer. When on hold, when do we list a reevaluation date? So you can set that reevaluation date, Jennifer, anytime you want, and I think you can even change it. It's really kind of up to your own, but the HR group will control that date, and that date is something we'll look at, Jennifer, as far as eligibility. Yes, ma'am.
So is that, it's an option. We don't have to
Mhm.
list a reevaluation date,
Oh,
but we
that's right.
have the opportunity, right?
That's it, because they could sit there like some of those and just, it just keeps more years showing up or something. You don't have to do a reevaluation. It just helps with not missing something.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, since you're on the call there, any questions that you have?
So when I'm looking at our district, I see a few on there that's in the makes that you asked for us to let you know
Okay.
about. This
Yeah.
is active information and supposed to be current, correct?
And I will always say UAT can be a little dated. So there could be a few examples, and that's what I suspect you guys coming back with me. I wanted to hear that. Hey, this one for this person is not right. They're no longer here or something like that, because it can be a little dated. For the most part, it's pretty close to production, but it'll be, I don't know, Tommy, do we think it's three months old?
No, because I think it's only about a month or so because we refreshed
Well, yeah,
UAT
yeah,
just recently.
yeah.
So
So,
it's only a couple, 3 weeks out, I would think.
but
Okay.
but we do look at UAT EID, and like I said, sometimes we found some weird things there. You should probably find a few, Jennifer. Yes.
Okay. We'll get a hold of you.
Awesome. Okay, let me go to the Northwest. Angie or Becca, any thoughts, questions you all have? Okay, Kansas City. Oh, go ahead, Becca. I think I saw you switch there. If you had something.
No, I'm sorry, I was waiting on Angie. I don't currently have any concerns or questions right now.
Okay, good deal.
Well, I think
Uh,
Danny Conway had kept coming up for us, and yeah, I think that's a good option, is to put that hold without a date. And I already saw that emails popped up then, because
Yeah.
I was kind of doing some things with those. It did
Yeah.
have the supervisor listed as well. He didn't
Mhm.
get that email, did he?
Yes, he did.
He did,
Yep.
even as in
Yep.
test note, because I'm not sure
Yeah.
he's aware of what's going
Yeah.
on. So, okay.
Absolutely. So we did that kind of intentional. We knew that it would probably have a few little things. So if you guys are in here testing, which we want you to do, you're welcome to anything. But if you see one of those emails generated, shoot them an email. Just say, hey, we're in here practicing with this. Our supervisors, the first chance we're really getting to talk with them is Thursday. And so I've emailed a few myself. Hey, don't worry about this. We're
Yeah,
just
I
doing some
just did
stuff.
some changes, from the supervisor to the MS, and so, yeah,
Mhm.
I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Kansas City, any questions?
I don't have any. Mine was answered already, but I'm really excited about this. I think it'll be really much better process.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. Central District, Heather, anything come up?
No, I don't have any questions, but I do want to say kudos to everybody that's been working on this. This is gonna really help out getting these processed.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, it was a great group there. St. Louis, any thoughts that you all have?
No questions or concerns at this time. I'm going through the list just like Jennifer was doing, so we're good for now. If we have any questions, I'll give you a call. You or Tommy.
You bet.
Thanks.
Yeah, please do. Southwest.
No questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. And Southeast.
I don't have any questions or concerns, but I'm excited.
Good, good. We'll take all those we can get, right? Absolutely. Central Office HR.
I don't know who's going to respond, Michael. I don't have any questions at this time, but I see some people still on, but I don't know if they're physically on or not. So,
Yeah.
if we have something, we'll reach out to you guys for sure, as we've continued to work with you through the whole process. So,
You bet. You bet. So again, if any of you want to join us again tomorrow or Thursday, you're welcome. We will again probably abbreviate some pieces and try to get to some of these other examples. I do have a video for the temporary waiver, and I'll probably go ahead and send that to this group. I'll just put it in this chat here in just a second, and you guys can look at it. It's again, unfortunately, it's about 10 minutes long, but you can kind of see that scenario play out. So I'll kind of go back over a couple of things. Yes, Tommy, that's a good point. What we're going to do in the next little bit, we're with you all this week. We got maintenance supervisors, one per superintendent joining us Thursday. Starting the last 2 weeks of the month, Tommy is scheduling about 2 sessions a week for just anyone. And again, this is not really about employees. We're really talking to supervisors. They'll be sharing with their employees. HR is going to do some communications and connections for us, probably the weekly connections. We're going to try to highlight in the spring meetings a little bit. But this UAT environment's our best chance to kind of get out there and let people take a look at it. Please let us know. You're not going to hurt anything. Rather you be involved than anything on that. So check your people who's been there more than a couple of years. See if that makes sense. Look into some of those ones that, hey, they've been disciplined. Go take a look at a couple of those people. Look at those CDL issues that you have, right? Those are huge helps to us. Kind of look at those people, check them out, and let us know what you think. Some of you will continue to meet with us on Thursdays. Not all of you will, but some of you have been on those Thursday calls. Again, we'd love to, if you haven't been able to be on those, one per district is great. We will continue to that until we move to our deployment. Right now, we're looking at April the 12th. So, hey, it's been our joy. Thank you so much for everything you guys been a part of. It's enjoyable to be working with our HR personnel. We do hope this makes a difference. And just helping bring in our employees and the intentionality we have in developing them, where they are, what they need to do to move forward, and through that. So thank you. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Let us know if we can help out. See ya.